Hey guys, Stealth here, and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Grim has returned, and that means Tropico has returned, because he's the creator, he's one of my Patreon supporters, who creates the scenarios for the Tropico storyline. Hola, Admiral Stealth. El Presidente is unfortunately indisposed and is not able to thank you himself. He wanted me to pass along that he is forever grateful that you destroyed his underhanded cousin's battleship, a blow which he is sure that El Gobernador will never recover from. For your exploits, you will get a statue in your honor in the El Presidente's Life Museum and Llama Sanctuary. To help bolster the morale of the Tropicans, El Presidente has secured financial aid from several backers to upgrade the Tropico Class heavy cruisers that were so instrumental in allowing the success of your last mission. You will be put in charge of one team of engineers to create a possible refit design for those same cruisers. Just like with your first wargame, you will be in charge of one group of mechanically included eggheads, while another will be assigned to the Ministry of War's Sun. You each will be given the same amount of expenditure, but the idea behind each refit is that one has been floating around El Presidente's noggin for some time. Is it better to have pocket battleships or thoroughbred heavy cruisers? You may choose which team you want to lead. You will be allowed to choose what nation assists you in making these design decisions. Well, that's not true. You will not be able to seek assistance from Japan, as your opponent in these games has already called dibs on the Japanese. As for what El Presidente is looking for in both teams, you will need to make sure that it isn't larger than 22,000 tons of displacement. It must have radar and sonar, must be diesel. It must at least have 2 torpedo launchers with 2 or more tubes per launcher, and it must be able to travel long distances. It also must have some sort of torpedo protection and at least a second hull bottom. Now I can pick which team I want to join. I can have Team Pequeño Acorazado, must have guns of no smaller than 9 inch, must have at least 3 main gun turrets, must use standard or light shells, must use oxygen for torpedoes, must have at least 6 secondary turrets of 5 inch caliber, capable of doing 33 knots, semi or auto-loaded guns. Belt must have at least physical protection thickness of 8 inch. Armor for the deck at least 3 inch. Belt/deck extended should be close to half the physical thickness of the proper counterparts, so that would be 4 inch and 1.5. And you must not exceed 60 million per ship or take longer than 28 months to complete. So we have a whole laundry list for this particular team, but so does the other team. The other team is the Thoroughbred Heavy Cruiser team. Team Pura Sangre must have guns that are no larger than 8 inch, must have at least 4 main gun turrets, must use heavy or super heavy shells, oxygen for torpedoes, must have at least 6 secondary turrets of 5 inch caliber or larger, capable of doing 33 knots, auto-loaded guns. Belt, same as the main requirement, 8 inches or more. Deck 3 inches or more, and must not exceed 60 million per ship, or take longer than 28 months to complete. Oh, one last thing. El Presidente has stated that he has some secondary objectives for your build. They don't have to be done, but if they can be completed, it will allow us to get the El Presidente, that's the battle cruiser, to get the El Presidente a proper refit. The bonus objectives have at least 6 inches of deck armor and 9 inches of belt armor, have an engine efficiency of 100%, barbette armor 3 or higher, have each ship cost less than 56 million, and have a maximum speed of 34 knots or higher. So I suppose that reads as minimum speed of 34 knots or higher. Right. What do I feel like building? The pocket battleship is the guns of 9 inches or bigger. The other ones are maximum 8 inch. Considering that I'm going up against 2 heavies, 2 lights, and 2 DDs, I'm going to go with Team Pura Sangre, which is the purebred heavy cruiser build. And that should allow me to build a very nice heavy cruiser. Now, we have quite a lot of options. Heavy cruisers 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. I'm limited to building the ship in a set number of months, which is 28 months. Current build time is already 17 months. And I need to make sure that it doesn't cost more than 60 million per ship. Right. Okay, let's see what I can set up on this particular hull. It might not be the end-all be-all, but at least it's going to be a start and give me an indication of what sort of ship I can build on this hull. Let's go with something a little bigger. How big can I make it? 18,000 tons. Okay. There were some other requirements. No larger than 22,000 tons. Check. Must have radar and sonar. Radar and sonar. Check. It must have diesel. Diesel propulsion. Diesel 2. Hold on. They could be as expensive as... Oh, 60 million. That's fine. Must have 2 torpedo launchers, two tubes each. Must be able to travel long distances. That's what I was looking for. Long distances. Let's go with many bulkheads for this particular heavy cruiser build. Armor. It must have some torpedo protection, I believe, as a secondary objective. Actually... No, it must also have some sort of torpedo protection. It's a main requirement. Anti-torp 2. And it must have at least a second hull bottom. So double bottom. Alright, so for Team Pura Sangre, guns that are no larger than 8 inch. Very good. Guns that are no larger than 8 inch. With reinforced 1. Engagement range is not going to be as high, so I'm going to go with a coincidence rangefinder. And then centerline 8 inchers. That tower is a bit awkward. Shift that back. And then put a secondary tower over there. Actually, shift that to here. Put this turret here and this one over there. Because there are some other requirements. Must have at least 4 main gun turrets. Check. Must have heavy or super heavy shells. Heavy shells, let's start with that. Build time is already 24 months, so I'm approaching that 28-month limit. What else? Must use oxygen for torpedoes. Yes, we need to have at least two tube torpedo launchers. So let's see where I can fit those. Potentially here. Maybe one here? Or is that going to cause issues? See, I don't think that one's going to rotate too well. Can I put it on the quarterdeck? I can. Excellent. Okay, that's that. Funnel. Another requirement, secondary objective, was to have 100% engine efficiency. So if I want to pull something like that off, I'm going to need quite a lot of funnel. Quite a big one. 37, 48, 55. Can I go with one thick funnel there and one here? It's actually a bit too much already. Thick funnel 1. 91. Not good enough. Thick funnel 2. There we go. Build time. 24 months. Still. Okay. And they need to be oxygen torpedoes. So let's set them to 21-inch oxygen. Must be capable of 33 knots. Check. Must be auto-loaded guns. Autoloaders. Deck armor. No, sorry. Belt armor must be 8 inches of thickness. And the deck must be 3 inches. So we're already past that. I'm going to lower that a little bit. This one must have been half. And belt armor. No, must not exceed 60 million per ship or take longer than 28. I'm 37 million currently. And I'm taking 24 months to build, so I'm still well within the limits. There are, however, a few other requirements in the sense that I was supposed to have secondaries. Must have 6 secondary turrets of 5-inch caliber. Yeah, I was kind of worried about this. See, I like this particular hull with the circles, but it makes it a bit difficult to put those things exactly where I would like them, which is on those circles. So they're going to have to sort of fall off, if you will. Which is something I don't really like for aesthetic purposes. Hold on, does the barbette fit there? It does? Ooh, this thing is going to roll every which way. by doing something like this, I can make a really weird design. If I kick off the torpedo launchers, that is, I could have a triple turret setup like that on a heavy cruiser. That is a bit odd looking, but hey-ho, if it works. The question is, where do I fit that last torpedo launcher? Oh, I already have too many secondary turrets now. Still. No, you know what? I'm going to remove that. Because all these things are taking another 200 tons. How about going something with a bit... Let's see. A standard Purebred. And then copy another 8-inch turret over to there and there. And then put some more torpedo launchers on here. This way we can fire relatively far forwards and off to the sides and aft. Yeah, that should do it. Let's spin these around. Just to make them look better. Actually, those might not turn, courtesy of the secondary tower. And I'm pretty stern heavy. That has to do with the torpedo launchers. Crap. Torpedo launchers here. That way the aft weight offset is not as bad, and the torpedo launcher can still rotate. Okay, this is a little better. 1.2. Build time is currently still 24 months. We're still a little heavy on the stern. That should do it. Can I shift the whole tower forward, or is that too much? Gives me a 0.9. 0.4. Where's the middle? There's the middle. Ah, that's not too bad. And I can then shift this one slightly farther back. 0.2. 0.1. There. Now, we're not quite done yet. This is the Pura Sangre prototype heavy cruiser. Bonus objectives. Have at least 6 inches of deck armor and 9 inches of belt armor. That is a lot of armor to put on. There. It fits, and the ship is still not expensive. Or not too expensive. Have engine efficiency 100%. Confirmed. Have Barbette 3. Check. Have each ship cost less than 56 million. Check. Have a maximum speed of 34 knots or higher. I'm gonna make El Presidente very happy. Because I can probably live up to all requirements. 37 knots. Is there anything else that I would like for this ship? Well, yes, actually. I would like a diesel engine and a better engine shaft. I'm pretty happy about the defenses here. Auto reloading, just hydraulic turrets. They don't turn terribly quickly, but it should be feasible. Oh crap! They're getting too expensive. And that's the diesel engines that are causing that. And high TNT is probably not doing me any favors either. You can blow 7 million on an auxiliary engine, because it boosts the engine cost substantially. If I go back to a standard diesel, then the ship's too heavy. Okay, they have to run on diesels. They have to run on diesels. An alternative is to make the ship slower. 35 knots, diesel ones. There. 46 million. There we go. Now the diesel ones, I think, don't repair as quickly. No. They have 120% ship repair for engines. These have 175. They have slightly less acceleration, but far less engine damage chance, especially overall compared to the steam turbines. Funnel capacity, however, needs to be looked at. Yeah, there we go. Ah. Fine. Have a big funnel. 100% engine efficiency. So, checklist again. At least 6 inches of deck armor, check. 9 inches of belt armor, check. Barbette 3, check. Engine efficiency 100, check. Less than 56 million, check. Maximum speed 34 knots or higher, check. This was a hell of a build. For a cruiser, that's not terribly intimidating. I mean, sure, she'll perform probably admirably, but it's not terribly spectacular, this whole build. Let's go with a bit more armor on the turrets to prevent them from popping off halfway through the fight. Same for the secondaries. There. Alright, let's put this purebred heavy cruiser through the paces and see if it can outgun the Japanese build from the enemy team. Okay, I forgot something. We're back to the designer. There is a whole other part to this scenario that I overlooked. Because this is Tropico, something will go wrong. Lastly, you must roll for something going wrong with the design after you have completed it. Note that if you complete any bonus objective and the event makes you now fail it as you adjust for it, it will still count as a pass since it was the paper pushers that messed up, not you and your team. So I need to roll a random number between 1 and 6. And according to Google, I rolled a 6, which is particularly lucky. 6 is a good day. Everything went to plan and there are no hiccups. Or did it? You never know with Tropico. For those of you interested in what the other parts were, you got 1, Roman Wadits. It seems the clerks who sent off the paperwork don't actually know their Roman numerals. Downgrade your armor type by 1 step. Option 2, bad batch. It seems that there was a mishap at the oil refinery and a batch of poor quality almost made it to the customers. You need to burn it instead. Set oil to oil 1. Option 3, stolen equipment. It seems that your sonar was stolen by the other team. Replace your sonar with hydroacoustics 3. Pirate radio Tropico is option 4. It seems your radio operators have set up a pirate radio station. Upgrade your radio 1 step. Option 5. I like turtles. One of the technical drawing specialists really likes drawing turtles and decided to turtle up your design. Set Citadel armor to turtleback armor. If you already set it to turtleback, increase the belt, the deck, the conning tower, and the turret armor by 1 inch. Well, fortunately I rolled a 6. So I don't have to bother with any of these, but they are hilarious and well done to Grim for coming up with this sheer Tropico build nonsense that you can only really have in the Tropico lines. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, here we go. Evenly matched teams, 2 heavies versus 2 heavies, 2 lights, and 2 DDs versus 2 DDs. Starting range 15,000. We got the Pura Sangre and the Aquila. We have the Brindisi and Partenope as assisting light cruisers. These lights are packing a lot of 6-inch guns, backed up by a ton of 3s in single formats. They have torpedo launchers on their stern, more on their stern, and a whole slew mounted port, starboard, bow and stern. And these can all hit to 22 kilometers. These are dangerous ships. Very well protected, not terribly quick, with a 455 meter turning circle. Mine, however, turn in 800 meters. That is battleship turning circles right there. Destroyers, Fucilieri and Generale Antonio Cantore. These are minimum destroyers, minimum bulkheads, 38 knots, very quick. 4-inch guns, triples. And they have torpedo launchers amidships, slightly towards the stern, at a range of 21.8. Very sneaky, minus 40. 21 inch. Okay. Alright, the plan here. Have the DDs continue on their merry way. I want you guys to follow in with my heavy cruisers. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to keep you as a separate fighting force, because the heavy cruisers are faster. And I intend to keep them as faster. The Japanese heavy cruisers, this is supposed to be the other team, so these are supposed to have the bigger guns. They carry 6 9-inch guns, augmented with 5, 4, 3 and 2-inch secondaries. in a really pretty interesting format here on the secondary tower. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that here. I really like the look of that. They're light cruisers. What? They get one triple 6-inch gun on the stern. They get torpedo launchers on their stern. They get, I think, those are 2s? No, those are 3s. They get 2 double 3-inch guns. And they get 3 triple 2-inch guns. One of which is on the bow. What sort of a runaway build is this? Okay. DDs? Seems a little undergunned for my taste. 3 single 5ers, 2 triple 2s, and a few torpedo launchers. Nothing too spectacular. Considering my build, I think we can take them. Now, since this is a topic that comes up a lot, when is this game finally gonna come out? I don't know. I know that the devs are hard at work at the game. There is a lot of discussion about when is it gonna come out, why is it taking so long. I'll try to understand that they're a small studio. They don't have a ton of people. They're not Activision, they're not EA, they're not any of these large studios. Stuff is just going to take a bit more time. And I know that sucks. You can already get the game through their website, which is linked down below in the description. And it is something that will hopefully come out this year. I mean, I'm very much expecting it to make it to Steam this year. That was their original plan last year as well. But last year, of course, we had a little pandemic raging the planet. And that generally didn't do any studio any favors, or any business whatsoever, because lots of productivity was lost. And the same can be said for this game. Now, if this is something that you are not yet interested in, because you're going, well, you know, it's $50 for an alpha build. Yes, it is. And if that's not for you, then just don't get it yet. But, the campaign is coming. I got confirmation about that. The campaign is coming, eventually. It is supposedly something that's going to come out in the next update. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to disclose that, but here we are anyway. And hopefully, it's going to be something that really invigorates the game. Because, as you might have seen, the scenarios, while great, like the ones that I'm running right now with Tropico and everything, while they're great, they sometimes get a little stale because it's usually just ships fighting each other without any kind of an overarching story, that is, without a scenario. The naval college missions are alright, but I'm really looking forward to a campaign where a ship build has a lot more factors than just putting guns on it and watching the displacement. Because if you have to worry about more than just being able to fit big guns, if you also have to worry about build times, budgets, technology, then the game becomes a whole lot more interesting. It becomes just quite a lot more immersive. Or at least, that's what I hope. When that campaign's coming out, I'm not sure, but I know that they're hard at work at that. Even though you might be going, yeah, well, you've been told that before. And you'd be right. Oh dear, it's the Kitakami. Those of you who are playing World of Warships, or rather who have played World of Warships, might know why that ship could be a problem. Or at least why it stirs fear in the hearts of many World of Warships players. If you haven't, Kitakami was a light cruiser that was introduced in the beta version of the game. I was there to witness its well, glory of sorts. The ship is a huge torpedo spammer in World of Warships. In here, not so much. But it is something that still strikes fear into the hearts of many people as they go, oh no, not that bullshit again. Because the Kitakami was a fantastic team killer. Supposedly World of Warships has done away with team damage lately. I haven't played it in a while, but I think that with the removal of that, as Jingles also pointed out, it is possible that the Kitakami will make a return. Since it's no longer possible just to spam 20 torpedoes at your teammates and hope that you hit the enemy. Or something to that effect. Hold on, I have to do some dodging here. Where are those torps? I detected them. Yeah, you detected them too. But you detected my torps. These torps. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? I have been maneuvering quite a lot to try and evade any potential torpedo attacks. Why are the heavy cruisers running off? Come back here, you Japanese cowards. El Presidente will not be pleased about your attempts at running away. It is unbecoming of an officer of the Tropican Navy. Gentlemen, do not launch torpedoes yet. You'd think that the Kamikaze wouldn't be that much of a threat with her few guns. There we go. That was a good hit. That was an 8-inch main gun overpen. And the ship... I think she just lost one of her stern guns. Yeah. That's an opportunity for my DDs to push in and cause even further trouble for that destroyer. There we go. She's flooding. Many bulkheads. One problem with these DDs is that they're not resilient. Take a hit and you're going to be in trouble. Come on, Kamikaze. The ship must be slowing down substantially with all that water in the hull. 22.8. Uh-oh. Oh dear, there goes the Fucilieri. Oh no. I was a little worried about this. This is what happens if you build a DD that is not capable of taking a hit. Come on, a couple of high explosive hits and that thing is gone. Unfortunately, it is very maneuverable. And making it very hard for my, well, I'd say excellent range finding to try and get a couple of shots in. But now we're getting somewhere. It's the DD's 2-inch guns that are doing damage to this ship now. There she goes. Let's pull the Fucilieri off the line, because I think she'll not survive another encounter. And see, this is something else that I really want to see in the campaign. Just... oh, hold on. Did you get torped? Yeah, you got torped by a light cruiser. Didn't see that. By the Kitakami, of all things. Ugh. This is something else that can really have an impact on the campaign. If you have to pull ships off the line, if you can repair them, if you can make sure that they fight again some other day. And thereby not waste a big investment, potentially. Because ships in the campaign will probably be expensive. Now, at least the Kitakami wasn't carrying too many torpedoes. And the Pura Sangre has good damage control. And on top of that, a little bit of torpedo blister. But that thing still hit me for 727 damage. Because I was too busy seeing what the destroyer was up to. Again, interestingly, the AI is going after my destroyer. I don't think they had an update, because I'm still on Alpha 1286. So for some reason, it's like the AI keeps prioritizing the smallest ships. The things which they can barely hit. I can't quite fathom why. Because my heavy cruisers are by far a larger threat, much like yesterday's scenario where they prioritized the DD and ignored the incoming battleship. Even though these things with their 9-inch guns should be capable of damaging my ship. Yeah. Reverse. 3% chance to pen. Oh, you got a very hefty armor belt there. Okay. The fact that I'm firing high explosive probably doesn't help either, but the game doesn't know that. Yeah. Ricochet chance is too high. We need to close in, and we need to save some torps, specifically to tank these heavy cruisers. They turn pretty well. They have sonar 3. Oh. Let's just have the Generale maintain her course and try to distract. Come on, push in on the Kitakami. She's flooding. Many bulkheads will keep her safe. It's like she's part of a formation-ish, but she's not moving very quickly. She's doing 25 knots out of her potential 30. Oh, the Kiso still has all of her torps. That needs to be addressed. I need to be careful with that. Damaged and flooding. Very good. How many torpedoes does the Aquila have left? 12. But the Pura Sangre only has 3. So I really need to save those torpedoes for when I eventually get an opportunity to strike their heavy cruisers. Because especially at this distance, I simply can't damage them. Smoke up. I would not want to be on my destroyer right now, because you're just being used as target practice by the Japanese fleet. Unsuccessfully, fortunately. They don't seem to be capable of hitting much of anything. Least of all the DD. But it's still something that I would not really want to be a part of. Because eventually they're going to get lucky and they will hit the DD. The Japanese really aren't putting up that much of a fight, are they? See, there's the hit. That was one 9-inch hit, but it flooded the ship 40%. And once again, the AI is just running away. Just go sail in circles, will you? Let our heavy-bred cruisers push up and try to deal with the Japanese up close. Their heavy cruisers also carry some torpedo launchers, notably on the bows. Minus 80%. They're going to be very difficult to detect. And that, combined with my heavy turning circle of 800 meters, is going to be a pleasure to play around. It's going to be difficult to dodge. Oh, hold on. I think the Kiso has launched her torps just now. Kitakami should be down. There's the torpedo. Now the Pura Sangre can do 30, the Aquila can do more at 35. My light cruisers will eventually catch up to the battle, but they're only doing 23 knots, and the Japanese heavy cruisers are currently steaming around at about 32 knots or similar, making them very, very difficult to hit. Shit. I think our target practice destroyer might be done. Is the Kiso launched again? No, not yet. Still, I'm presenting myself as a pretty big target here with 2 heavy cruisers at a mere 800 meter range. It's such a weird build, this light cruiser. She just launched. Like, the ship is sheerly focused towards the stern. All her firepower is there. I don't get why you would want to build a ship like that. I don't see the tactical benefits to it. Also, why on earth are we targeting a destroyer? I thought we were targeting the Kiso. The DD is taking some nice damage, though. There's the torpedo. Chance to pen? Any better? 7.5%? Not that much better. The Generale is still struggling. I think you have done just about all you could do. Distracted them long enough. They've been shooting at you a lot. You almost died. But they're running low on their 9-inch shells. Oh, well. I'm sorry that I cannot make these scenarios more interesting at the moment, but it seems like the fleet is just not interested in a fight. They're just not doing much of anything. Now, one thing I need to be a bit careful with is where the Kiso's quintuple torpedo launcher is going to be throwing her ordnance. Because she is still loaded, but I think unable to fire because she has a couple of secondaries behind her. Chance to pen? 20% but dropping. Chance to pen them? 19% and growing. Better. Much better. This is where my belt armor is going to come into play. Oh, they just launched torps. I'm assuming at the Pura Sangre. The Ashigara has not yet launched her torps. I think the damage is going to come sheerly from my heavies. Because the Tokiwa and the Ashigara are too fast. More torpedoes. Are those 5-inch guns even doing anything? Yeah, something. But they probably have trouble firing at the target. That's the second 5er. But I really don't want to angle too much to port, because then I cannot bring those secondaries to bear. Well, I can bring them to bear, alright, but I'm moving farther away from the heavies. I'm running a little low on shells, but it should still be sufficient to deal with those heavy cruisers. 23% chance to pen. Ooh, that goes both ways. Main armament on the Tokiwa, please. Whoa! Seeing that spread, that was probably the destroyer. Well, this is a triple launcher. Oh, it could have been the Kiso. There she goes. Secondaries on that, primaries on that. Some damage to the Tokiwa. These light cruisers are a complete joke. They cannot keep up with anything. Pura Sangre taking a lot of fire, but not a lot of damage as of yet. Secondaries on the Kazugumo. Are the portside batteries all firing? Yes. It's just 6 barrels of 5-inch firepower, but it should be sufficient to sink a DD. Kazugumo flooding. Yep, there they are. Oh, no. Yep, that hurt. Those torps are so frickin' sneaky that you can barely spot them in time. Yep, there's more. I'm gonna throw the 8-inch into the fight against this DD because it's dead in the water. So one good high explosive volley should finish off the DD, and then I can just discard it as a threat. Yeah, that ought to do it. There we go. Target the Tokiwa. Pura Sangre has taken some serious flooding. Let's see if we can launch some torpedoes at them. Maybe at the Ashigara. Yeah, she just launched at the Ashigara. Ashigara detected torp. She's going to turn to port. Is she? What? There she goes. I was wondering what the hell that was. Hold on, the Tokiwa just launched torps at something. This is going to be a drive. There it is. That torpedo salvo was probably meant for the Aquila. Okay, Aquila. 2 can play at that game. Look at this thing turn. That's a 600-meter turning circle? No, it is not. Here. Have some of Tropico's finest torpedoes. That's going to be 6 hits. Yeah, that made an impression. Okay. Aquila back to full speed. Ashigara probably just launched torps again. What was her target? I was her target. That was not supposed to hit me. I just launched the port side against that one cruiser. So I can use the starboard to deal with the Ashigara. Provided I can make that turn. Range 1600. 1400. Send it. Starboard torpedo launchers ought to be ready. I hope. Oh, they're turning the wrong way. Or they were turned the wrong way because the target was on the other side. Oh, crap. Hold. 1.3. The ship is slightly flooded. I want to have rudder damage on her before... Yeah, that ought to do it. She's flooding. She has 2 damaged engines. Torpedoes are out. Rudder is damaged. She's going to be unable to slow down. Except for losing momentum due to having engine damage. And she'll be fairly difficult to turn. Oh, and now the light cruisers are getting into range. Better late than never. I'm going to miss all of that. And I have no further torpedoes to fire. Ah. Well. Yeah, she got hit twice. 2 torpedoes slam into the bow. No, 1. 1 torpedo only. But the damage is done. And the Ashigara should be going down very quickly. There it is. Victory to the Purebred cruisers. Now, considering that I completed all of the secondary objectives and primary objectives, I'm hoping that El Presidente is going to be pleased with my performance, and that the new Purebred cruisers have proven their worth, and that my cunning as an Admiral is going to allow me to get a bit more funding for the refit of the El Tropico battlecruiser. More on that next month, as Grim gets to send in another scenario then. If you also want to send in your scenario, become a naval architect through the Patreon program. That's currently how I'm accepting the scenarios. Link down below in the description about that. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Grim, thanks for another scenario, and I'll see you guys soon for another video.